Inflation drives up the cost of living. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. I have my stein of coffee, and I thought we'd have a look at the latest data about the inflation rates. And let's start by looking at this news.com.au article as an interesting summary. Now, inflation is up 0.7% increase for the December quarter, higher than the previous one. Now, I can't imagine this is a surprise to many people. Now, while the inflation rate isn't a measure of the cost of living, it's not a measure of the cost of living, I would say, and I would argue, that this increase in inflation is going to drive up the cost of living. Some of the things with the methodology that's used and measured in inflation, like overseas holidays, well, is not really going to have an impact on your day-to-day cost of living, is it? But, if that's going down, inflation isn't as bad as we thought. We really need an alternative measure. Perhaps cost of living impacts of inflation depending on your position in the, class structure or economic hierarchy of the country. Significant increases in the cost of food are going to affect you much more because it's a recurring purchase if the lower you are in earning potential. But that's probably something to discuss in another video. So let's have a look at this article. Annual inflation has inclined higher to 1.8% for the December quarter, and at least one analyst expects the Reserve Bank will delay a rate cut. The annual inflation level climbed 0.1% on the September figures, which the RBA board may consider when it meets on Tuesday. The 1.8% figure is just below the RBA's preferred 2 to 3% range. Just think about that, guys. Inflation is equivalent of the government or the Reserve Bank or the value of your money going down by 3% a year. If this was a negative interest rate every year, 2 to 3%, or a tax taken out of your account, 2 to 3%, there would be outrage. Why has the Reserve Bank got its target? Oh, because they want you to keep moving and spending and keep the economy going. So they want your money to lose value. The rise for the quarter was 0.7%, greater than the 0.5% in the previous 3 months. BSI Oxford Economics Chief Economist Sarah Hunter said the data was in line with expectations and followed strong employment figures. Now, I've done another video which I will release later tonight with regards to the reality of unemployment. And I just happen to have the Roy Morgan data up here. And we'll just scroll down and have a look. Well, the ABS is saying our unemployment rate has improved slightly, like 5.0%, 5.1 to 5.0. Oh, no, sorry, 5.2 to 5.1, 0.1% down. Roy Morgan is saying the change is 0.6% up in unemployment. It's a different methodology. So, did we have strong employment figures depending on where you get your numbers from? It's unlikely we'll see a cut in the cash rate on Tuesday, she said. Tobacco, 8.4%, domestic holidays, travel and accommodation, 7.3%, recorded the greatest price rises, the Australian Bureau of Statistics said. The drought is causing Australians to pay more at the supermarket. I think that's more important with regards to your cost of living. Tobacco probably is for a lot of people. The price of fruit increased 6.8% this quarter due to drought and lower seasonal supply. So food prices were up 1.3% for the period. So here we have pork up 4.7%, beef and veal 2.9%, and cheese 2.4%. So once again, the carnivore, meat and animal products, they're not rising as much as the fruit and veg. There you go. What does that tell you? Go keto. But my point being, guys, these things here, fruit, supermarket spending, is going to have more of an impact on your day-to-day cost of living than domestic holidays, travel and accommodation. But the domestic holidays, travel and accommodation is also going to have an impact because so much of our workforce is tied up in the tourist industry. It's a big sector. And if we have a look here, guys, here's Tourism Australia. There's the GDP, 60.8 billion. We're already going to see hits from international tourists coming into Australia because of the bushfires and the virus. And now it looks like cost increases for domestic holidays, travels and accommodation, we're also going to see hits. Now, the RBA has a rate indicator, the ASX has a rate indicator where the market is indicating rates. So let's have a look at this to see where the probability is if we'll get another cash rate cut. Because right now we're sitting at 0.75%, as you can see on this chart. Now, we've been warned that if we get to 0.25, QE is going to start, quantitative easing, essentially printing money. And what's that going to do if you have more money out in the market? It's going to drive up inflation. It's going to reduce the purchasing power of your money. This is the problem when your wealth is tied up in these, in this digital or physical currency that can be created essentially out of nothing. And even if the government is using it to spend on infrastructure, there's no difference. It's still going to have a purchasing, reducing your wealth and your spending capacity. So let's have a look. The RBA indicator shows market expectations of a change in the official cash rate set by the Reserve Bank of Australia. The indicator calculates a percentage probability of the RBA interest rate change based on the market-determined prices in the ASX 30-day interbank cash rate futures. The table below illustrates how market expectations of an interest rate change at the next RBA board meeting have changed in the last few days. The RBA rate indicator is updated at the end of each business day, so you can see any changes in expectations after each trading day. The RBA rate indicator provides market participants and commentators with a market monitor for official cash rate expectations in Australia. So what's it saying today? On the 3rd of December 2019, the RBA left the cash rate unchanged. The current official cash rate, as determined by the Reserve Bank of Australia, is 0.75%. The next RBA board meeting and official cash rate announcement will be on the 4th of February 2020. As of the 28th of January, that was yesterday, the ASX 30-day interbank cash rate futures of February 2020 contract was trading at 99.315, indicating a 30% expectation of an interest rate decreased to 0.5% at the next RBA board meeting. So there's a 30% expectation that we're going to see a cash rate cut. So we can see here, no change, 70%, and a decrease to 30%. We can see how that is gone down. Well, actually, decrease has gone up. Sorry. It was down from January the 16th, and in that time, it's climbed back up. Well, it's fallen down to the lowest of 19%, now back up to 30%. So let's jump here now to the ABS, and this is the media release they released for the CPI. So the Consumer Price Index rose 0.7% in the December 2019 quarter, according to the latest Australian Bureau of Statistics figures. This follows a rise of 0.5% in the September 2019 quarter. The most significant price rise in this 2019 quarter were tobacco, domestic holidays, travel and accommodation, automotive fuel, there you go, and fruit. Notice how they didn't mention automotive fuel in the news.com article. Now this has an impact on a huge part of the economy, particularly Australia has now moved, trucks keep Australia moving. That adds to the cost to move goods and services around the nation. Petrol costs a lot of money. The most significant price falls in this quarter were international holidays, travel and accommodation, and women's garments. Okay, so this is the thing. This is where international holidays, what relevance do they have to most Australians? How many people can't even contemplate an international holiday? I think automotive fuel should be weighed to a much greater extent than international holidays, at least from a cost of living perspective, not CPI. ABS chief economist Bruce Hockman said drought conditions are impacting prices for a range of food products. Food prices increased by 1.3% this quarter, with price rises for beef and veal at 2.9%, pork 4.7%, milk 1.7%, and cheese 2.4%. Both the impact of the drought and lower seasonal supply contributed to price rises for fruit this quarter. The CPI rose 1.8% through the year to the December 2019 quarter. This followed follows through the year rise of 1.7% in the September 2019 quarter. Annual inflation remains subdued, partly due to some price falls for housing-related expenses. Through the year to December 2019 quarter, price falls were recorded for utilities, 1%, new dwelling purchases by owner-occupiers, 0.1%, while rent price rises remain modest at 0.2%. So, here you have it, guys. This is looking, particularly the fuel. The fuel is the one that worries me the most. That's going to have the cost of living impact on more and more Australians. I know the last few times I've been going to fill up the petrol, I was shocked at how much it's gone up. I mean, we've got the problem. I've got the Camry hybrid where I don't even notice the fuel. Like when we had the Smart for 2, when it was just the two of us, fantastic on fuel. Now we've got we've got the Kia, the old Kia Carnival, packed with kids, roof racks, stuff, and it's just a fuel guzzler. We're turning into those people we used to laugh at. Well, there you have it, guys. So it looks like inflation is heading up. It may offset a cut to the cash rate, which, well, if it avoids QE, I think that's a good thing, or at least if it avoids it for a little bit longer. But we'll have to see the latest unemployment figures. We'll have to see, what happens with GDP growth moving forward. And I'm concerned about tourist numbers. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to support us a little bit extra, we have a Patreon where you can make a monthly donation. We also have the ability for you here to join the channel on YouTube, where you get access to emojis and badges. We have referral links for Independent Reserve for your crypto trading, for Amazon and eBay for your consumer purchases. It's a great way for you to support a creator without incurring any cost to you. We have merchandise we make on the HeiseSays website, and finally PayPal if you want to contribute that way. That helps us buy equipment. I've got to just bought some new remote microphones for interviews and going out and about, and I really appreciate it. And thank you to everyone who watches the channel and supporting us grow. Have a great day, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye for now.